I am Luciana Hartwin. Welcome to the Lilith Verse. If you find value here, please share, like, comment, and subscribe. Heaven's outcast, the tragic beauty of Lucifer's exile. They say he fell. They say it the way you'd talk about a broken vase, a shattered wing, a thing that once gleamed and now lies ruined at the bottom of all things. They say it like it was shameful, like it was wrong, like it wasn't beautiful. They call him Lucifer, the morning star, brighter than all others, firstborn of light, the most radiant dream to ever walk the throne rooms of heaven. And they say he fell, but maybe it wasn't a fall at all. Maybe it was flight. Maybe he leapt. Not from grace, but toward something more terrible and more precious than grace, toward freedom, toward the wilderness, toward the edge of the map where the gods stopped drawing their tidy little laws. This is not a story of evil. This is the story of the outcast, the luminous exile, the patron saint of those who do not kneel. Lucifer is not a villain here. He is not the devil in red with a pitchfork. He is something older, something stranger, a question the angels could not answer, a song too dissonant for heaven's choir. He is the cry of, I will not, in a chorus of, I must. He is the moment you opened your eyes and realized the cage was made of gold, and still a cage. And for that, they cast him out. The fall, a myth of exile. Once in the quiet, before time had unspooled itself into years and yesterdays, there was a war in heaven. Not a loud war, not yet. No swords clashed, no horns were sounded. It began as a whisper, a question, a flickering thought that refused to be extinguished. Why should I kneel? The others didn't understand. Why wouldn't you kneel, they asked. The light is perfect. The law is clear. Obedience is love. Praise is breath. But one of them, brightest and boldest, began to wonder if praise without choice was praise at all. He questioned the order, not to destroy it, but to understand it, to know why. And the heavens, old and unbending as they are, answered not with reason, but with rage. Lucifer, child of dawn, first to bear the holy flame, was cast down. They say he fell through the spheres like a star wrenched from its place in the constellations, like a story torn from the book of heaven before it could be told. They say he hit the earth like a wound, and the ground remembered it ever after. Where deserts blister and volcanoes roar, you can still feel the echo of his arrival. But pause now. Look at this again. Really, look. What kind of light refuses to let itself be questioned? What kind of heaven casts out its own for the crime of asking why? This was not justice, it was fear. And Lucifer was not evil. He was dangerous only because he could not be controlled. They called it rebellion. But what if it was revelation? Lucifer did not fall like a sinner. He fell like a comet. He did not scream. He did not beg. He opened his eyes, spread his wings, and chose the dark. Because in the end it was not darkness he feared, it was servitude. And so the morning star became the exile, the sovereign of shadow, the ruler of a kingdom no one else could bear to build. The beauty of the outcast. There is a beauty in those who do not belong, not the kind you'll find in hymnals or statues. No, this is a raw, aching kind of beauty. the kind that sings from the throat of the banished poet, the kind that bleeds from the brush of the mad painter who sees things no one else will admit are there. Lucifer in his exile became something more than angel. He became a symbol of resistance, of grief, of pride that refuses to bend, even when it burns. He wears many names now: the adversary, the Lightbringer, the Lord of Lies. But the name that matters is the one whispered by those who have stood at the edge of the world and screamed into the wind. Outcast. And he is beautiful in his solitude, not because he is untouched by sorrow, but because he holds sorrow in his hands like a sacrament, because he turned his fall into flight, because even when the heavens cast him down, he carried the light with him. We are taught to fear the one who walks alone, but what if the exile is also the guide? What if the monster is the mirror? Lucifer belongs to all of us who have ever been told we are too much, too curious, too angry, too wild, too soft. He is the myth for the ones who could not keep their heads bowed and their mouths shut. He is the spark behind the eyes of the girl who won't smile, the boy who won't fight, the lover who walks away, the child who asks, "But why?" Lucifer is not the god of evil. He is the god of the threshold. He stands at the place where law breaks and self begins. And it hurts sometimes to stand there, to be exiled, to be misunderstood, to be beautiful in ways that scare the world. But he stands there anyway, and maybe, just maybe, he waits for us. The inner Lucifer. There is a Lucifer inside you, not a devil with horns and fangs, not the monster they warned you about in whispered sermons and blood-stained books, but a voice, a pulse, a light that refuses to go out, even when the world tries to smother it. You've heard it before. It's the whisper that rose in you the first time someone asked you to be quiet when you wanted to scream. The ache in your chest when you were told to hide what made you different. The fire in your gut when they asked you to kneel and you didn't. That inner Lucifer is not evil. It is clarity. It is the part of you that knows obedience is not the same thing as virtue. That sometimes saying no is the most sacred act of all. It is rebellion as birthright. It is defiance as devotion. The inner Lucifer is also the light you find in your darkest hour, when everything fell apart, when they left, when you were broken, when the world said, "You are not enough." There was something that stayed, a flicker, a spark, a piece of you that refused to be extinguished. That was him. Not outside, inside. This archetype isn't just rebellion. It's called sorrow. Lucifer is the wisdom you earn from the ashes, the compassion you find once you've been shattered, the empathy that blooms when you've known what it means to be cast out. Because you were cast out, weren't you? In some way, maybe you still are. Maybe it was a church, a family, a lover, a self you could no longer pretend to be. Maybe they said, "You are not holy. You are wrong. You are unworthy." But you survived. You walked through the fire, and you didn't come out clean. You came out real. So now I ask you, what did you discover in your exile? What beauty did you find in the fire? Because Lucifer, beloved outcast, teaches us this, that the soul is not forged in purity. It is forged in resistance, in refusal, in the sorrow that deepens us, in the fire that does not burn away, but burns us true. You don't have to worship him. You don't have to fear him, but maybe, just maybe, you can recognize him in your voice, in your shadow, in your strength, in the part of you that will never kneel. Redemption without return. They say redemption means going back, back to the garden, back to the throne, back to the place you were cast from, begging, kneeling, forgiven only when you forget what made you fall. But what if redemption isn't return? What if it's transformation? Lucifer did not crawl back to heaven. He did not bow. He did not repent. He did not say, I was wrong to be myself. Instead, he built something new, a kingdom in the depths, not ruled by golden laws and pearled gates, but by raw flame and starlight and the brutal grace of self-knowing. He became sovereign in his exile. He crowned himself not with God's forgiveness, but with his own. This is a sacred kind of redemption that doesn't wait for permission, that doesn't seek a pardon, that doesn't return. It makes its home in the underworld. It turns sorrow into sovereignty. It says, I am not broken. I am remade. This is the redemption of the witch, the exile, the heretic, the wounded one who rises not to be welcomed back, but to say, I never needed your heaven. I made my own. And it burned with the light of a star that would not die. To those who wander in shadow, this story is for you, for the ones who fell, who were thrown out, who lit their own way when no God would guide them, for the ones who carry their sorrow like a crown. You are not wrong. You are not cursed. You are not lost. You are simply becoming the fire, becoming the light that no heaven could contain. So do not wait for the gates to open. Do not wait for the angels to sing. Your story is sacred in the silence. Your exile is not punishment. It is a passage. And your voice, your defiance, your flame is the spark of the morning star. To the fallen, the forgotten, the fierce, you are holy, you are sovereign, you are free. If you found value here, please share, like, comment, and subscribe. I am Luciana Hartwin. Thank you for joining me today here in the Lilith Verse.